diversity in the data set itself, and to have much more news that balances out eating eggs doesn't give you COVID, which would be true, and eating eggs does give you COVID. Having many samples of each of those news, I think, would be the key to solving the problem that you mentioned in the way that I've used Gina. And I do understand that we would have to scrape a lot of data for the same, but I think given Gina's power to index the whole data set and then query the thing pretty fast, I think that should be the way to go.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the question.
So any other questions from the other judges?
I have one question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, John.
Yes. What do you think is the benefit of using frame this problem as a search problem rather than use simply a classification framework?
Yeah, I think we could do it both ways, but then I wanted to use Gina in some way, and I thought having index them would be a pretty fast way to get results quickly, and you wouldn't have to retrain a model with all the new data again. You would just have to add more data to the data set and then just incorporate it into the already indexed pieces of news. And that way we would save more time, I guess, would be the answer. I hope that's kind of clear.
Okay, thank you.
And I'd like to just add, and I think you could use this not just for COVID, even though it doesn't seem like the pandemic's going anywhere at this moment. We could use it for any data set in general to stop misinformation in general, and not just limiting it to COVID. I just wanted to add that real quick.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Adi from CoFairFake team.
Thanks a lot, guys.
The time will also stop. Thank you. Let's just take a moment for the judges to finish your scoring for the first team while we're moving on to the next team, which will be Facebook Ads Inspiration Platform. All right, and now let's move on to the next team, Facebook Ad Inspiration Platform.
Hi everyone, my name is Rohit. I'm from Bombay, India, and today I'm going to be talking about my idea, which is a Facebook Ads Inspiration Platform. It's essentially a site to reference and learn from the best-in-class Facebook ads from across the globe. Looking at a few quick stats, there are 1.62 billion daily active users on Facebook. $70 billion is Facebook's ad revenue estimate for 2020. And every day on Facebook, there are 3 million daily active ads. So what exactly is the problem? So each of these 3 million ads would have been created by a team, and the team would have spent almost 60% of their time in ideating and planning the ad itself rather than actually launching the ad. Now, the problem here is there is a huge amount of unstructured data online. So although a lot of ideation and references are required, there's a huge amount of time spent in just finding the correct references from online. And even after references are found and ads are created, the past learnings aren't really shared. So every time a new campaign is created, you have to create a new ad and new references. So what exactly is the solution? The solution is an online ads repository with a blazing fast, accurate neural search to help marketers. What that means is what I did is create a repository of Facebook ads. The repository is made searchable using Gina, using image search right now and video and text later. The blazing fast, robust neural network search combined with some symbolic searches like filters together gives us a platform that can help marketers find and learn from the best ads online. The solution is already live and I'll be showing you the demo right now. So getting straight to the demo, the code is online and is live at the backend. So let's say I search for e-commerce products. I'm a marketer and I want to create some e-commerce ads. The platform will then give me ad suggestions based on other e-commerce products as well. Let's say I wanted to run an offer. So let's say free 30-day trial, for example. The platform will then show me ads which have free 30-day examples provided in them. Just like this, there are so many other references that can basically be created and searched for on this platform. So now that we have looked at the demo, let's look at a few quick stats before we look at the vision. The expected value of online advertising market by 2025 is expected to be 980 billion, and there'll be 4.41 billion number of people on social media active live by 2025. So now, based on this, what the vision is to be the one-stop solution for online ad references and ad creation across all digital media platforms. Looking at a few quick steps for the future. The near future, that's 1 to 2 months, I'll be building capabilities for video and text search using Jina, building out a fully functioning prototype and a customer-facing site, and we will launch. In the distant future, which is the next 3 to 6 months, I expect to build and nurture a community around the product. I'll be adding references for other digital media platforms like Google Ads. I'll be creating automatic media parsing and tagging options for the community to upload. I'll be tying up with freelancers to help small brands build their creative content using our platform. I'll be then integrating with Facebook and Google's API to automatically create ads directly from my platform itself. Finally, to conclude, I would like to thank the Jina team so much. I wanted to build this platform for quite a while, but this hackathon is what provided me the opportunity to actually put this into code. So thank you so much and have a nice day.
Awesome. And now it's time for the judges to ask a question.
Yeah, hi. So this is Ibrahim Haddad, and I think I have a question that should be asked to every candidate in this competition, given that the whole goal is to see how Gina can be used in different scenarios and so on. And the question is, how did you use specifically the Gina technology, and how would that have been better or is better than what you think exists out there today in the market in general in open source? So what are the advantages basically that Gina offered you that you are not able to get from other open source libraries and frameworks that exist today? And I think this kind of, given the theme of the hackathon, this should be kind of a question addressed to every person, every team participating in this. Thank you.
Awesome. I think I'll start off right with that question. So a quick disclaimer, actually, I'm not from a data science background as such. So Gina was actually a steeper learning curve for me than usual. But I did learn as much as I could. So getting straight to your question, Ibrahim, the reason I think that a neural search is better than just a symbolic search. So most websites, if you understood the idea, the most websites basically, even if they do try and provide you a search option for different creatives, what they would do is use a symbolic search. Essentially, every creative that is added in would basically have a lot of different tags based on what the product or what is getting highlighted in that ad. The benefit of not using a symbolic search is basically that you don't really need to tag each and everything inside it. Rather, you can let the algorithms basically learn from all the images that are uploaded automatically, and then basically the indexer can actually help you basically search those later as well. So it does help a lot in terms of the amount of effort that is required to actually create and maintain such data sets and give such search services to customers.
Thank you. And do you have any plans to continue working on this after this hackathon ends? I mean, do you have any kind of follow-ups that you'd like to achieve?
I absolutely do. So this idea didn't just come to me for this hackathon. I actually already had this idea. I work as a technical lead and a performance marketing specialist for the startup, for a very early stage startup. So I faced this problem day in and day out, essentially. So for the past 3 months, I have been trying to think about what are the best ways to do it. It's just that I didn't particularly get time to get started. But now that I have, there are plenty of ideas that I have. So essentially, the last 2 slides are kind of my broader roadmap for the next 6 months. Parallel to that, I'm also trying to get other industry tie-ups, which will help me take it past the 6 months as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Welcome. Thank you so much for the question, Ibrahim.
Hey, there we go. I got another quick one because I've seen a lot of people doing scraping the internet and collect the ads contents. It's called creatives for searching purposes. But the real pain is you can dynamically assemble the ads contents and then deliver to Facebook or Google API. But the thing is, when you're facing advertiser, their problem is they don't actually know how effective the actual content would be. So, or rather than just search and get it. So do we have any plan to work on that to improve the effects of the connected creatives instead of just a simple search?
Awesome. Very, very good question. I do have a plan. So essentially, the way I imagine this platform being is not just to act as a source of references. That's just the start. What I actually want to do is after the ad has been created, I want to basically link them to both Facebook and Google's API. So essentially what will happen is the ads and creatives get created from my platform. What that also means is I then get access to Google and Facebook analytics. So I kind of understand that for which advertiser in which regions, how has one particular content or one particular text and all that actually performed. Did video perform better, images perform better, for what kind of audiences? So all that analytics will, when that comes back to me, is when I'll be able to build better models to kind of suggest also that, hey, I think you should use this kind of a creative and this kind of a text with it. So yes, that feedback loop will actually only get closed once I'm able to basically link around to Facebook and Google's APIs to basically help people create ads from my platform.
Nice, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for the question.
And that's the time is up for the Facebook ad team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me here.
The next team who is going to pitch is 4ML, for men and lady. And now I would like to share the video with you guys.
I'm submitting a solution for the Jina Hackathon. I'm participating with my team called 4ML. 4ML stands for 4 men and a lady. As you know, there's been a huge growth of video data across multiple social media websites, and thousands of videos been uploaded every day. As an engineer, you need certain sense of expertise to work on videos. So we wanted to build a video platform which would provide multiple workflows for the companies to integrate with their products. And we see Jina is a very helpful framework to solve a lot of multiple machine learning use cases. So the first use case we wanted to explore is something called near duplicate video retrieval. So what exactly is near duplicate video retrieval? So on the platforms like TikTok and Instagram, a lot of users copy hot or trending videos with a bit of modifications to for personal incentives or to gain attention. So this reduces the credibility of the platform, and it also harms the video search, video recommendation, and also it also introduces a lot of copyright issues. We set out to build this project to build a ethical and healthy space for the creators to share their videos or ideas. So here's a demo of our product. As you can see, here's a video of it's a messy video, right? And here's the video playing. So we have also built a workflow where you can where the metadata gets extracted and the videos can be get archived according to that. And here are the near duplicates. So how are duplicates being created? So we try to mimic the user behavior, how they create duplicates. So to bypass the detection, they do certain kind of transformations. So they add black borders, they crop the videos. So they also decrease the speed of the video, etc. So this is our submission for the Jina Hackathon. It has been fun. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you, team. And now it's the time for Q&A.
Hello everyone, I'm Kaushik. I'm representing Team 4ML. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
And so what we try to do here is we wanted to build a smart AI video platform. So as you can see, we have witnessed a huge amount of videos being shared across multiple social media sites. And as an engineer, you need certain kind of expertise to deal with videos. So we wanted to provide workflows for the companies to integrate with their products. And we thought Jina is a very helpful framework to solve a lot of machine learning use cases. So the first use case we decided to explore was near duplicate video retrieval. So, yes. So that's what we tried to build over here.
Yeah. So my question is like you said, is in practice people actually have a lot of different ways to how say to avoid the duplicate detection. What is your strategy to avoid that, to somehow combat against this kind of strategy?
So for the hackathon, we try to mimic the user behavior by doing certain kind of transformations. So we have divided the data strategy into three parts. The first part would be iterative strategy, where we will get clusters of videos which share the similar image features, and we will consider them as like positive videos, and that's like hard mining positive videos. And second would be transformation, as what we did during the hackathon. And third would be a strategy which will hard mine negative videos, like these videos are not at all duplicates. So we wanted to train the model according to such kind of data, but to time and resource constraint, and there are not a lot of available data sets online which are publicly accessible. So we decided to create our own data.
And will you consider like a clip of the video also as a duplicate of the original one?
Pardon me? Sorry.
Yeah, for example, people can just clip part of the video, and will you consider this kind of clip also be a duplicate?
So during the encoding process, we decided to go with the keyframes. So what are free? So keyframes are the full frames, the iframes of the videos, which so it can be used for the representation of videos. Instead of considering all the frames, we have decided to consider only keyframes. So we have considered keyframes as chunks, and during the indexing part, during the ranking part, so we can only it will help rank according to the keyframes.
Yeah, how would you decide the keyframes and any insights into that problem? So how do you decide this frame is more important than that one, or you just randomly pick it?
It's not randomly picking. So there are several methodologies to pick up keyframes. So it checks with the okay. So a lot of algorithms based on how to extract keyframes. So we have used an open source library called Katna. So they are specialized on extracting keyframes from the videos.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I have one question.
Yeah, Joel.
You go.
Yeah, no, just to clarify, so you are using keyframes as chunks, and the similarity search is done at these frames. So it's at image level, using the document structure of Jina. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we have also started implementing one more approach for video similarity, which we are considering the entire video as a chunk. So it's a work in progress. So we are done with the encoder part. We are working on the ranker part.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And now we're moving on to the next team. Neuro search for food recipe.
Hi, so welcome to my project of a food recipe neural search engine. This was actually my first hackathon and it was an amazing experience. Uh, so my initial idea was to create a multimodal neural search wherein a user can enter either a image say from Instagram of a particular food he or she craves for, or basically any ingredient keywords which they want to eat, and output will be search results, basically recommendations of recipes of that particular food and video links or videos of that particular food. But eventually actually it scaled down to a simple text based search for food recipes, and this was basically adapted from the lyrics search example of Gina. So I will just show you a demo. So for example, if I search say crispy chicken, uh, so as you can see, the results are not that fine tuned. The reason is this is using BERT cased. I initially wanted to use universal sentence encoder and cosine distance, but I really failed to really use that. So this is basically using only minimum distance and BERT cased. So the results are not that good, but even though even with that, you can see that the crispy chicken has some good recipes around it. So if I like fried chicken, some semantically related recipes, crisp delicious chicken with almond crust. Yeah, sorry, I clicked this. For example, if I want a chocolate cake, again it gives me some semantically okay results, and these recipes I initially wanted to include a lot of recipes, but indexing took a lot of time. So this is currently scaled to 10,000 basically recipes, 10,000 documents, and these are basically the results. So even like so if you want vanilla in that, for example, so yeah, right now it's not giving that good, but yeah, this is the kind of concept I was looking for. So thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And now it's time for the judges to ask a team question.
Hi everyone, it's really good to be here.
Hey, I have a question about the initial idea that you claim to have. How
Sure, sure.
was your approach? I understand that for a weekend of work, it is hard to have something using also images and everything.
Yeah.
But could you clarify a little bit what was the original idea?
Yeah, so basically what I wanted to do is I couldn't get a good multimodal data set actually, especially for recipes. What I really wanted to do is last year when I went to Amsterdam, I ate something called as stroop waffles, and when I came home and I searched for that recipe, I couldn't find everything together. I had to go to YouTube and then BBC News. So what I wanted is a aggregated is a common place where I can just type in a word or an ingredient or something I crave for, and it will give me recipes in terms of text. Then it will give me some images where I can see, okay, some of the things look like this, and then some videos. So I couldn't find the proper data sets for recipes. So what I thought is I'll get a text based data set for recipes and some image based data set. I will get the encodings for the text data set, encodings for the image data set, and then I'll use a pooling strategy and then like I'll index both of them and search them. Videos was a bit ambitious, but initially I thought I was confident in doing this, so that if a user even inputs either image, he will get recipes corresponding to that image. Of course, the images will be captioned, or if he enters any text, any word, any ingredient keyword, he will get accordingly those recipes in text and images. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And as a follow-on question, I would like to know, like I've seen that, I've heard about the idea as well, and was just wondering if you plan on moving on with your idea. So if you actually will go ahead and try to get the cross-model one working as well in the future.
Thanks for the question, Lucia. Absolutely. This is something that has been on the top of my mind, because I myself face this problem for a bit now. I really want to have one platform where, all the food enthusiasts or anyone can come, and anytime they crave, they can just put one word, just hummus or anything from their mind, and they will get those recipes, and in terms of videos, images, and text, and they can just directly jump into the kitchen, without searching a lot, without digging up a lot. So absolutely, this I will be developing this till the end. Thanks.
Sounds good. I'm excited to see that one.
Thank you. Thanks for the question, Lucy.
Ibrahim also asked in the questions box, it would be really helpful if you can explain the advantage Jina offered to help you do this project. And number two, what improvement you would like to see in Jina so that you can build on top of it. So this is also questions for all the participants here as well. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Ibrahim. I really found out that I don't think any search framework is giving a platform where you can really generate embeddings out of images, videos, and text, and index them and use them together. I mean, as long as I know Elasticsearch, Fice, SPTag, on anything. So this is really, like, I have been following Jina for a while, and I really think that it's a great project to really build a complete product, especially cross-modal and multimodal products. And where Jina differs is basically, getting the semantics out of all the documents, which a symbolic or keyword search cannot do. So really, Jina, I mean, each of this image embedding search, video embedding search, each is a complete research topic, and it takes forever to really implement each of this. And the fact that Jina is giving such a high level framework for each of this to integrate using simple YAMLs and Python, so is in itself absolutely great. I mean, I myself cannot, I mean, last night I really dug in the code and everything, and I was absolutely amazed with how this framework is and what power it possesses. So actually, I am also very excited to complete this project using Jina. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, now we're ready to move on to the next team. The next team is Fast Forward Life.
Hello guys, my name is Mohsen. So for today, for the Jina Hackathon pitch, my project name is Fast Forward Live. And imagine that, like, how many number of times have you tried to research a topic and you end up like reading the same piece of information over and over, or maybe like listening to the same piece of podcast or watching a video and coming across the same information. So my project is basically, my motivation is that this kind of redundant information, like how it can be avoided. so that we can save time and we can go through or consume media faster. So the basic idea is that all the information that we consume digitally, let it be podcasts, YouTube videos, or reading blogs, or so on, it gets indexed, and the next time we consume a new data, we sort of do like a reverse search and identify what information can be skipped and so on, so that you only see the most important things. About me, a bit like I'm a data scientist. I'm currently based in Kuala Lumpur. I'm mostly work in computer vision and unsupervised machine learning. So let me maybe go to a demo and let's see what it's all about. So let me give an actual example. So let's say like I'm researching on computer vision and so on, and one of the first papers that I would typically read would be like a famous one would be the paper on Linnet, and it talks about this new kind of convolutional neural network, which was a pretty big hit back in, I don't know, 95. I don't exactly remember the year. I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, it's in 98. Okay, and let's take one actual example. So each of these sentences or chunks are pieces of information that I'm consuming and sort of remembering, right? So one of the information would be a convolutional neural network is a deep network which works very well on visual data. So I have already learned this, or I have already come across this. Now let's say that I have consumed this piece of blog or article or something, and later in time, some other time, I'm trying to understand more about this topic, and I reading more and more papers. So if you look here, this is the ImageNet paper. It's abstract from the ImageNet paper, which came out in 2012. And you could see that this information is sort of repeated, like the information about what exactly is a convolutional neural network, or another example would be like what exactly is the MNIST dataset and things like that. So my idea is that like as we consume this gets indexed. So this is sort of like an extension of our own memory that's being stored inside a repo. And the next time I'm going to read a new paper or watch a new video, it basically runs through each chunk of information and lets me know that like I'm going to hide this piece of information here because it's not very, it's something that I have already seen. That's the basic idea. I sort of cherry picked an example here, like catering to the crowd here. And let me quickly give a demo on what exactly it's being done. I have my Jina server running. Okay. Okay. So you can see that maybe it's hard to see, but please. I have added more information in the repository. So I tried to basically search for this text here that is in deep learning something something. So my basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see that have I seen this before. That's what my system is trying to do. And it looks like one of the results is a paper that I have read in the past. So the app would know that, and the app would try to not show me this piece of information or hide the information, or depending on some settings. That's basically it. I was actually planning to add.
Right. Yep. And now we have time for Q&A with the judges.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yes, let's go for Ibrahim questions. Ibrahim was asking all the team here. Number one, can you explain the advantage Jina offered to help you do this project? And number two, what improvement would you like to see in Jina so that you can build on top of it?
Okay. I think the first one I would say would be that, uh, especially for this task I'm trying to do, it requires an index server and a search server that has to run pretty much constantly because data would be streamed. That gets really easy to have to be done using Jina. Otherwise, you would have to work a lot with like Kubernetes or building REST APIs, which a lot of those things are sort of taken care of. And it's very well scalable. I just started playing around with Jina in the last 2-3 days, so I still have to explore the limits of it. But from what I can say, the documentation is pretty awesome, and I was able to get something out within, I would say, like few hours, which is, I would say, is really amazing. I work in DS, and this kind of a search task, it's I mean, traditional search task you can do in Elasticsearch or things like that, but a neural search task, it's pretty time consuming, especially something that's useful.
I have a question, probably more on the implementation. So basically, this is an anti-recommendation model. So anything you ever read will not show up again. So, but what if you ever want to have a second read? Can you see what's not showing up?
Yeah, so that would be an implementation question which I am pondering myself. I was actually thinking to add something like a FOMO meter, like fear of missing out. So like if you're in a mood, if you're reading a topic, let's say in biology, and you would say that I really don't want to skip a lot of things right now. Or you could always say that what's being hidden in any given cases. I also say that like since we are able to index pretty much our entire consumption of information, you could also query back. You could ask like, okay, have I seen this information before? How many times I have seen this, and on what context, and things like that. So those are really good implementation questions that I'm really thinking. Yeah, at this moment, I don't have like a final vision of the product, but yeah, thank you for asking.
No, sounds good. Okay, one more because I have to take the opportunity for being unmuted. The other one would be, so this is so you would continuously index every single time there is a new, something that you've seen, read. So it would continuously index over and over again. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's, at this moment, that's exactly how I'm thinking about it. So as soon as you consume some, so I think the domain itself is like quite wide. The kind of medias people consume are quite wide. So providing a plug and play solution is, it's a bit difficult. But let's say that we provide something like a like PDF reader to start with. Let's just do grab. Then in that case, like anytime you open a PDF, you get, as you scroll or something, it gets um, indexed. So that's the idea at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, any other judge?
Yeah, one technical problems. So I'm wondering how would you distinguish it's really duplicating information, or it's just kind of similar information and add some extra information based on the original one. For me, it sounds really difficult to distinguish.
Yeah, so one of the things that I didn't really play around a lot with, but I think is a very essential point of this project would be the crafter, the segmentation of, let's say you're consuming a document. How do you segment what consists as a piece of information? I mean, like a naive way to say would be a sentence is a piece of information, which is what I did with Jina at this moment. But I don't think that would scale, or that would do justice to the concept of information itself. So that's something I'll have to think more about. But I do believe it's possible. And I also believe that I totally agree with you on the point that information can, like, it can correct a piece of information like after a later period of time. So in the case of paper reading, maybe if the paper you're reading is a new one, maybe you need to see the information, like even if something similar you have seen before. So it could be like not just the neural similarity, it could be more domain specific tuning settings that you need to apply to the task. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Musi. The time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
We are moving on to the next team, Lone Tech.
So this is the team Lone Tech, and like my name is Shubham, and like in our team there is a this is a team of 2 members, and the other member is Tabriz, and like we have developed a solution called as Lone Tech. So what is actually Lone Tech? So we all know that during this pandemic, we all know that digital education took a bloom, but we can see that nearly 830 million students are like don't have any computer access at home according to UNESCO, and you can see that the students along with primary teachers, secondary teachers, female users, they're not very comfortable with online education due to digital divide. So to solve the problem, we have thought of a like unique solution for the economically weaker parts also. So for those who cannot afford a smartphone or computer, like we are trying to make a loanable solution for them. So we all know that there's a total e-waste like approximately 9.3 million metric tons, and it is growing with each year. And we know that like why it is happening, because nowadays like the technological advancing so much, like each like outdated models are becoming like the computers are becoming outdated, less powerful, but it is not like that, like it is totally waste. It can be reused in some form of like teaching the kids, because they don't require two powerful laptops at a very early age. So why not to loan? And even the Linux OS can run very well on some of the old computers too. So we can take like we took inspiration from the companies like Dell or Google who loan devices to the school in America, and like with each passing year the devices find. And how to do that data set? So first of all, I went to a website that is called as sellbroke.com, and like they're listing many like old used laptops, and like I just need to like I can see all the like images and all these things. I just need to make a Python script to like scrape all these images into a custom folder. So that was pretty easy, and I was able to do that, and this is how I got it. And the another script was used for renaming it. So this is a like script I used for, yeah, this is the script for the renaming. So this is the caption file. Okay, so the caption file is itself very easy. We just need to provide the image source and the caption for it. So you can see. So this is how a cross-model searching is happening. The user can put his query. Suppose if you want to use a laptop for just Python programming, so the query like this like Jina search engine would try to get back the results, which will be similar to like getting back fetching the results, just in case like suppose the laptop is very good for Python and it is very much suitable, so it can return all those query list. So
Thank you very much, Team Lone Tech. And now it's 3 minutes for the Q&A with the judges.
Maybe you can start with the question from Ibrahim. I'm really wondering in this case what is that advantage that Gina brings to you?
yeah, so actually the advantage I'm getting is like most of the students they confuse, like if you see the market strategy nowadays. Okay, my like image is not coming so clear. Okay, it is background blur. So actually what is happening, like every company, tech company, they do the thing like they advertise their product, it's a gaming laptop and everything, but the student needs to be sure that the device which he is loaning is accurate for his like use case. So in that case we are trying to use a neural search model, so that like those results can be filtered, the devices can be filtered according to the user's use case, so that he can get a perfect user. Suppose he wants a programming one, he don't need a very high-end specific laptop or something, he can just use a like a small end ones also. So we're just trying to like conquer the digital divide actually.
Okay, I see. And a follow-up question is, why are you using cross-model search? Because
yeah,
for me, from the answer you just said, it sounds like you can purely rely on the text part, and why you're using cross-model search.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to use cross-model search because I wanted to show the brand of the laptop along with the specification. I could not show it today, like during this hackathon. I just showed the image of the like model, but I just wanted to show along with the specifications, like which operating system can it support and like what is the minimum configuration. So I wanted to show in that manner. So I just wanted to detail out the things. So thus I wanted to use the cross model along with the captions. So we can do the reverse thing also. The user can provide an image of the laptop or something, and it can result like basis of that, whether it can fit his use case or detail out the captions, just like a vice versa reverse searching.
Okay. Well, but in that case, I mean, distinguish different type of laptops will be super difficult, right? From the image, I mean.
Pardon?
I mean, in that case, you actually want to distinguish different laptops from the images, and that would be super difficult.
Yes, exactly. It will be difficult, but the thing which makes it simple is like the captioning. The captioning which is being used in the Jina AI, that is making it a bit simpler for us. And indexing will be like.
I have a question aligned to Nan's. Have you tested more or less the results? Because I guess the image features of all these laptops will be quite similar, and it's hard for me to see how can Gina or any other neural search solution tell between them.
Yeah, I just explained just now, like what happened just now. I scraped all the image, but there was no specification. But in future, I will be adding the specification under the image, like the model name, model number, the specification, like what operating system and what pre-configured software it has, which will be aiding the like learning for the student and everything. So in future, I'll be adding all the description also in that image. If you have seen that Facebook, that advertisement, just now our friend just shown that. So he just mentioned the, like the detail of the like the advertisement and all those things. So we'll be doing something like that, detailing out the specifications along with the model name.
All right, thank you very much, Team Lone Tech, for answering the questions. Thank you, team. We are moving on to the next project. COVID question answering bot.
Hi everyone, my name is Dipanshu and I'm currently working with Samsung R&D as a machine learning product engineer. Today, I'm going to present an idea that I've made in the jina.ai hackathon. It is called COVID question answering bot, which basically helps a user find answers to COVID related myths, facts, and much more. Here's the outline of my idea. Motivation. A major challenge during fast developing pandemic such as COVID-19 is keeping people updated with the latest and the most relevant information. Due to a lot of information that's coming in, it's been a challenge for a lot of websites which have been maintaining FAQ pages, which they have to regularly update. Even though so many users might struggle to find questions on FAQ pages, and many questions remain unanswered, there are a lot of different types of questions people have been trying to ask. They could be related to transmission, societal effects, prevention, origin, and so on. So, the idea is to create a search engine in which we can use NLP to better understand questions and retrieve relevant content that semantically matches to the queries of a user. The dataset I'm using here is a question classification dataset. Here we have collected the data from various sources. Demo. Let's go to the demo. Here we see a demo powered by jina.ai and running in the Jina box. Say for example, if a user asks questions like will COVID end? It quickly answers those relevant answers. Absolutely, the vast majority of the people with COVID survive. That's a relevant answer which user had got in just 0.65 seconds. We can try multiple questions here as well. Can I get reinfected? It's too early to know for sure. At this time, we are not sure if you can become reinfected. So here we can see it's able to semantically match and find the relevant answers. Let's try something else. Hand sanitizers not available. So if I don't have a hand sanitizer, what would I use? So it clearly mentions that there are no studies supporting the effectiveness of a homemade hand sanitizer, but people can still create one, make their own hand sanitizer. Yeah. And then there are other relevant answers which come as the top results. Now I will quickly walk through the code. So here we see there are different phases. As we can see here, the approach. So there are different phases. One, extractor, second, encoder, third, indexing, fourth, searching, and fifth, ranking. So here we see the extractor which we are using here is the text extractor. Here we use different.
Yes, the time for pitching is up. So now we have 3 minutes for Q&A with the judges.
Hi everyone.
Hi there.
So I can start with answering to Ibrahim's question. Sure. Yeah. So I think there are lots of benefits that jina.ai semantic search offers relative to other open source frameworks. So I've been working in neural search for quite some time. So I've explored a few of them. So I would state which were the advantages which I felt. Yeah. So I think the number one is few shot learning, where we are actually giving the task description and also a model sees some examples of the data, right? So here it's just like a GPT-3 like model which does few shot learning, and that's not accessible just like a GPT-3 which is a closed source API. And the other thing is just like GPT-3, it doesn't require millions of dollars to be spent on running your algorithm on GPUs. Just like for example, AI GPT-3 API requires like $12 million USD for training the model. Then the other flexibility is like you can search any to any search, like it doesn't restrict you. You can search image to video or any other search. The third thing which I really like is it's like a marketplace. It's like an app store where like you provide different algorithms, and people can just plug and play whichever they need. So that's really amazing. And I think the other advantage which I felt is it's easy to improve, because like after the hackathon, I'm able to improve my result by just changing one line in the model. So I just tuned the model with distill but uncased, and I got like 10 to 20% improvement in the time. So yeah, so I think there are a lot of improvements and a user can do. And regarding the extension, I would like the meta info to be exposed as well. And if we can also do some kind of transfer learning, that would also be really amazing. And the last would be something like a drag and drop based interface. So like completely developing the whole flow with a drag and drop based interface. Yeah, so that's, I think would be the extensions and the comparison with other open source APIs. Yeah. So I would like to maybe, if there are some please ask the question.
Maybe one question from me.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. Very good answer to Ibrahim's question. So my question is, like you make kind of, you are doing the QA in a very classic way, right? You index all the questions and then use the query to find the questions, then return the answers. And and also you just mentioned you have some plans to improve the results.
Sure.
And would you elaborate more on the plan, and how would you plan to improve it? because
Perfect.
there are some existing problems with this method, right?
Sure. Absolutely. I think absolutely. I think what like there are two things which I would like to stress here. One important point here is, like this particular idea can be taken to any domains. So for example, I work in an enterprise, right? So there are a lot of groups where, like people ask a lot of questions too. Say, for example, there could be like something system related questions. Say, for example, my laptop is not running, my Windows is not running. Say, for example, questions related to support groups, like something like when can I take a leave, when can I not take a leave, right? So these questions can be clustered. And then there could be other categories of questions as well. Say, for example, experts type of questions. Say, for example, I want to know when can I file a patent, and all sort of things, and maybe something related to colleagues. So this part of the thing uh, is very extensible into an enterprise model as well. So you can quickly extend this model into an enterprise model where it can become a very specific type of model. Yeah. And regarding the technical type of extension, so what I would do is, number one, I would bring a classification model here. So what the number one layer would do is it will basically classify the question into different categories, right? And then the next step would be, I will take the questions cluster. So currently what I'm doing here is I'm comparing the user's natural query with the question. So instead of that, I would gather a lot of questions from different sources. Say, for example, currently I've gathered from Center for Disease Control, CDC, Food and Drug Administration, right? So I can gather questions from their FAQ site or the different paragraphs they would have given, and I can make the questions cluster. And this can be compared, with the user query. So now when you have the cluster, right? So it becomes more specific, like the answer becomes more relevant. Say, for example, those clusters, would point out to one answer. So now you can rank internally as well. So it would be like a two-class model. Yeah. So one would be classification, and then the clustering, and then searching and relevancy scoring. Yeah. So that's my answer.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so much.
much, Dipanshu.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. That answers the question. Awesome, thank you. And now it's time for us to move on to the next team, APD.
And I am a software engineering student from Canada. The problem that I'm seeking to solve is that in today's world, there's information overload, not just in the realms of the internet, but even in the field of research. Given we're currently in a pandemic, I've decided to focus on specifically within the domains of health-based research. There are many research labs and researchers who come up with creative ways to treat complex diseases such as cancers, dementias like Parkinson's, like Alzheimer's, and even mental health issues. Now, results from these labs are opinions based upon genetics and environmental factors. It is inevitable that there's overlap within the research. However, it also makes it impossible for any one clinician to be up to date on all of these opinions. Finding the most effective initial treatment becomes a monumental task for which it involves scouring numerous research papers with trial and error in order to provide patient outcome. According to a study by Vilo and Munoz in 2009, inadequate knowledge of competence and incomplete info about clinical characteristics result in prescribing faults, including the use of potentially inappropriate medications. So, what is the solution to all of this? The solution is this process of finding the most relevant research papers or resources. It can be automated using Jina to enable healthcare practitioners the ability to provide the best patient care. So, introducing Epidi. Epidi is an initial stage MVP built using Python and Vue, and it leverages jina.ai framework to perform searches for relevant resources as needed for clinicians and researchers alike. It works by creating an opinion of both the query being sent out by the user and the data being indexed by Jina. To demonstrate what I mean, let's see an example here. For the example over here, we already have a topic present, which is Comet is a single pass map reduce algorithm for learning on a large scale data. So the example isn't based in healthcare, obviously. However, it's going to be easy to see how this would translate over into topics within healthcare based on the data set that you use. And this particular one is a computer science-based article data set. So this is the topic, and my hypothesis would be that this approach is appropriate when learning from massive scale data that is too large to fit on a single machine. So if we just go ahead and copy paste that whole topic and the idea, then we should get, oops, there you go. So as we can see, it came, okay, there we go. So the article that pulls up here is the comment one, and it's exactly the one that I was looking for based on my hypothesis and my topic.
Wonderful. So that was 3 minutes for the video. And now we have another 3 minutes for the Q&A. Welcome the judges. And I saw that Canis is already here. Hi there.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. The video got cut short, but feel free to ask any questions or further clarification.
Yeah, maybe you can start with a question from Abraham.
Sure. Oh yeah. So for the question from Abraham, Jina is a perfect tool for this kind of usage. Basically, it's because it provides a plug and play. Like many of the other members mentioned, it's very easy to use. I don't have any prior experience in machine learning, but over the last few days, I've been pretty much reading about the various algorithms that I can incorporate to make what I want to do. And Jina has kind of let me do that in a very plug and play manner, where I didn't have to implement any of these things by myself. The models, the pre-trained models were there. This thing is using distilled BERT cased, and the indexers and crafters, they all just work together to provide a seamless workflow. And the other thing I noticed is that you can set up workflows with Docker images as well. So it's highly extensible in the sense that you can have different kind of images of pods that, and you can execute them with your own flow, like a custom flow. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this, but since I'm pretty new to this and I don't have a machine learning background, I essentially just tried to create like a very short MVP to demonstrate my idea. It's not implemented, so it's not like this is a very cherry-picked example, but for future, that's where I want to take it. This was generally the idea. And Jina will let me do that without knowing all the intricate details.
Very cool. So any questions from the other judges?
Yeah.
I have a question. I don't know, Lucia, go.
Was first. Okay, now very short question. I was just wondering, it's very interesting. So you say you don't have an AI background, and the way that so I was just trying to kind of ask back, how did you get to your MVP? Just very short, like did you start?
Yeah, so essentially, well, I don't have a background in machine learning, but I like to tinker a lot. So I go on Reddit and I look at, there's a subreddit on Reddit for research papers. So I like to look at them and kind of try to implement them for various use cases. And my girlfriend is actually, she's going to start her master's in health. So she and her, like her and I, we together had issues where sometimes we want to accomplish a task, but there's so many research papers to go through and I don't know which one that I can pick through. And same thing goes with if you go online, if you want to do anything with computer science or software, you'll find so many tutorials and you don't know which one you can refer to. So there's information overload, and I kind of wanted to use sentiment analysis in a way to update the user queries and the documents or the data set in this case, so that we can kind of match the user queries to much closer to what I'm trying to accomplish. In this case, we want to take the user's hypothesis, so like what I want to accomplish, and we want to find the papers that most correlate with my goal essentially. So to reduce man hours to get to the end goal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Go on. So it's your turn.
My question was more or less on the same direction. Is where was the motivation? If he has identified, if you have identified some lag when you use some keyword-based search for this kind of tasks, because I agree with you that there is sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
find what you're looking for.
Sorry, so you mean where have I experienced this kind of delay?
No, if it's, I wondered, but you already answered, Lucia, more or less. That where does it come, the
Yeah.
inspiration, if it's from personal
Yeah, my
experience?
girlfriend is the health expert, so she filled me with the information about the issue that we have in the healthcare industry, and then as a general casual researcher, I guess I also faced similar issues, so that's why I wanted to tackle that, because there's too much information and I want to quickly access what I want to do the goal that I want to accomplish.
Okay, thanks.
Very cool. But just one minor comments from my side. So like,
Yes.
actually you can, there are pre-trained model on the medical vocabularies. Maybe you can use them to improve the results for the medical usages. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Actually, you
sure.
can, yeah, actually you can easily change the model with Jina. Yeah, just one comment from my side.
Yeah, there were many approaches. Though actually, it's almost like scope creep. The more I read, the more documentation and the more I understood things, the more I realized I could kind of go different ways with the implementation. So for the demo, I have one particular idea, and I'm sure the more I read and more I find out, because there's rankers, and then there's so many models that are implemented, and I could modify different moving parts. That's the beauty of Jina as well, that there are so many moving parts that you could kind of tamper and mess around with, that you can get it to do what you want it to, and in very little time.
Yes.
I can code well, but I don't have the data science / machine language background. So
Yeah.
I was able to kind of just read documentation and make my way through. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you.
end on that note. Yep. Thank you very much, Team APD, for sharing your pitch.
Thank you for hosting the hack.
Of course, our pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone through 80% of all the pitches. So now we have 2 pitches left. The next pitch is going to be from the team called Semantic Stack Overflow.
Stack Overflow is a crucial resource for any developer. It helps us save a lot of time in debugging coding errors. While there is a search engine in official website, I see that the results from this one are below par, and the quality of the results reduces drastically with increase in the number of words or the complexity of the query. Let's say we are searching for a simple query like renaming pandas column. This search actually returns good results because the query here is simple. But if we move towards some complex query, the search engine fails miserably. But if we give the same complex query to Google search engine, this actually returns relevant search results from Stack Overflow website itself. The difference here is lack of semantic search capabilities in the Stack Overflow search engine. So I decided to take up this problem and solve this using the Jina search framework. At first, I built a flow using Distilbert as a encoder for the text, and then later I moved to Kaggle and sampled data related to pandas topic, and there were around like 30,000 posts which I sampled and then indexed using Jina search framework. Later, the whole setup was deployed in the Google Cloud Platform. Moving to the demo, moving to a quick demo. This is how it works. So when I give a query, this was sent over network to the server running in the GCP, and then results are returned back in a JSON format. This actually resulted in some interesting results, which I have highlighted in the GitHub group.
Thank you very much, Team Semantic Overflow Stack. Now we have 2 minutes for the Q&A with the judges. And maybe you can start first with answering Ibrahim's questions.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. While using Jina, like I faced a few challenges at the first, like moving into few errors. I say like documentation is pretty like clear, and it helped me to move forward. And there are a lot of configurations actually to experiment and to make changes, but I didn't get a lot of time. One thing like I observed was there was no like dynamic indexing support as of now. Like I think it would be great. It would be if it was there. Uh, we can't start indexing for the second time, and if we started like it was giving some errors. And other things where like the models are also very pretty large to run on an average system. Like let's say I have a pretty basic system on my home, but I was unable to run most of them like due to the memory requirements and all. That's the reason I opted for GCP. I think it would be great like if you can add more tiny models like tinybot or something which were there. Uh, and I thought of implementing custom executors for them, but I didn't get not much of a chance. So yeah, going forward, I think like it would be better like if we can use both like syntactic and semantic features in combined for searching like these type of uh, like forums to directly answer the questions of the user. Like the initially like my idea started with like kind of building a chatbot on top of stack overflow data like for answering user queries in real time, like with most relevant results rather than like more bunch of results which you have to read refer and find the right one or suitable one for us. Yeah. That's
Okay, cool. So any questions from the other judges?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you asking something? Sorry. Like.
No, I'm just asking whether the other judges have questions.
Yeah, I just got a very quick one. I think this is a brilliant idea to index Stack Overflow. They got a lot of useful informations, but on the other hand, there are quite useful, code snippets out there. So would that be
Yeah.
possible to use Jina
Yeah.
to
Like.
search?
Yeah, I also referred for that use case. Like I think like indexing code will be useful like when it is only properly documented, because we use a lot of temporary variables and also like which are not real kind of codes, and we need to train the model ourselves. Like if you say like BERT has only like 30,000 or 50,000 vocabulary, and I see like most of the Stack Overflow titles itself are not having vocabulary. Means if you take a title like most of them are encoded as being without having which are not included in the vocabulary. So while pre-training, BERT hasn't learned that word and the context yet. So I think in case of like like code-based search or uh, searching code bases, it will be better to pre-train a model ourselves and then uh, implement a search on top of it. And I think there needs to be doc strings also, so that like we can easily retrieve the part of the code or block or the function, which can be displayed easily or immediately.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I have a similar question. So, do you know any academic progress on this direction for searching code snips? It's actually quite
Uh,
different from the NLP, the normal NLP problem.
Oh, sorry. I just got to know now. Maybe I will search now. Like I didn't do too much of research on like searching code, uh, like searching the code bases. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
Awesome. Our time is also wrapping up. So once again, thank you, Team Semantic Stack Overflow. Thank you for your pitch and answering the questions.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for the hackathon.
We are moving on to the last team of today. This team is called Search Story Chatbot.
Hi everyone, my name is Sabish Bashir, and my idea is hack is called Search Stories Chatbot. So it is a way to search your stories using a chatbot which is powered by Jina Search AI. So I've integrated Rasa conversational AI with Jina neural search so that when you search for stories within the chatbot, you will get that recommendation. So if you look at here, it's the Jina bots I put in my UI, where if I search for like allow, you can see that a list of stories that comes back. So you can do the same here using the chatbot. You can say that I want to search for stories, and it'll ask you like which kind of stories you want to search. And then at that point, you can say allow, and you can see that the same results across the years and beyond comes up. You click on this, it'll open up the actual story which you can read about. So you can see like different examples like this where you can say like fantasy fantasy is one of these stories. You can see the romantic things. If you go to like Gina bots here, you can see that I've configured fantasy. You can see the same results coming back, which I've configured here, as well as the Gina bots here, which can do the same. So same thing you can do like stories, thriller, where you can do the you can see like it builds up like very nice results using Gina search. So the way I've done the whole thing is, so it uses the Kaggle dataset, which is like all like 100 plus or 1,000 plus stories, which it is indexing, and then I'm using Gina core to do that. And as you can see, like I have Erasa and Gina both on my project and how to run the project overall. So in my terminal, I have the the Flask server, which is my test UI Rasa running, as well as Gina search running from that perspective. And if you look at my code, I have that Gina code sitting here under search stories, and you can see the different Gina configuration, the flows that I've used. I work with the team also to like customize the wrangler so that the chunks comes back properly, and more or less the wrangler that I used something like this to come back, and then and use the result that I'm actually using is
not this real text, but actually using the parent ID and then fetching up the results and then serving it up. Because this result is sometimes not the best to display to the user, but it's pretty interesting the way it is coming back up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last team.
Hi, everyone.
And yes, hi Sivish.
I have one question. Besides, obviously, what Ibrahim asked, I have one implementation one for first. You talked about this parent ID, if I understood right.
What was that, Ibrahim? Sorry, or Joanne? About priority?
Sorry, that you had to access the parent ID of your chunks to get it done, right?
Correct.
And how did you go about this? What executor or driver were you using for that?
So
Or
you
you?
mean I just used the parent ID and went back to the source and then picked up the right record because because when it was displaying it, it was coming the correct record, but it was also showing the web's whole name as well. So it's mainly based because of the data. You could always make or remove that from the data, which could give it like pretty much straightforward results. But I took the Kaggle data as such, so it was not a user-friendly display data. So, so that's why I'm showing both in Rasa as well as the direct search.
Okay, smart. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other question? Yeah.
Yeah, from my side, it's a more technical question. So actually, I mean, for the NLP problem, actually you can represent the semantic on different level. And as you have shown, you actually index the title and search with the kind of keywords, right?
Correct.
And I'm wondering, so how would you expect, like, if people text a full sentence, and what about the performance? I maybe we can put it in this way. So for each book, they besides the title, there are also the keywords, the descriptions, and how would you expect the matching works when I just query keywords, and how can embed the keywords into the same, I mean, into the same representation as a description, let's say. So it's like a short text to the long text.
Yeah, so just to reiterate the question, so you're saying like, so this is, I just use the title to index it. You go beyond the stories and other information around it. How would you solve it, right?
Yeah.
So that's something I was going to try because it'll be interesting. So one of the real use cases I was thinking was for like kids to like pick up stories and the right kind of stories for the kids on a conversational AI interface. So as you're indexing, as it's using BERT, it's able to understand the semantics around it. So it's not about like giving the perfect list of it. It's about like what user wants and try to come up with the best book that you could do, very similar to a human. So it doesn't need to be a perfect ordering or perfect things, but as long as whatever user is typing, like I want to see love stories or something like that, very generic, because people type so very different things in a conversational AI. So I want to understand that too, because BERT understands the semantics of it. It should be able to like go and look at deeper short descriptions or even the story itself. So I would like about an elephant story, and if the whole story itself is in text, it should be able to go and understand that and bring that up. But the order is not very important. It's just picking up a story which is very close to like what a user typed. If that was the use case, what I was trying to solve.
Okay. Wow. I'm just thinking like the representation. I mean, for example, you use bird to represent one word. You can also use the bird to represent the meaning of the whole paragraph. Then then these two representation may be not matching, right? Because like you have one word say love, and the whole paragraph may containing besides love is also talking about the elephants, the birds, and something extra. Then these two representation actually doesn't match.
Yeah, it's the closest match that you need. So as
Okay.
long as it's able to find the closest match, it should be able to. So I type like love stories and little more broader sentences, which I didn't show in the demo, and he was able to go and bring that up very well. So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
is there a different question from Ibrahim? I don't see. Is that in a Q&A or somewhere else?
No, thank you.
Okay, it's cool. I just wanted to say that, yeah, so Rasa is a perfect conversational AI, and it is missing a search capability. And I saw like Jina was able to like perfectly complement it. And that's why I thought integrating with Rasa will provide a great open source community for these two to work together, because it solves one problem and Jina solves the other. And it's a perfect combo I was looking for some of my projects in my company as well as my personal stuff. So I think great.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Sivish, for wrapping up our pitches today. So ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the final round of pitching at jina.ai Hackathon. So now I also noticed that Adi from team Coffee Effect also would like to just take a minute to answer Ibrahim's questions. I think that would be great to hear from you as well. So please promote Adi to become the panelist so that we can hear from you. Since we're a bit short on time as well, so we will keep it under 2 minutes for each team. I also saw the team for ML would like to answer as well. Yeah, we will invite you to answer, but let's keep it short and sweet here. Hi, Adi.
Hey, it's me again. I'd just take a quick minute to answer Ibrahim's question.
Yep, go ahead.
It's my understanding that the current alternative to using Jina when it comes to identifying fake news is to use a neural network that does classification as opposed to indexing and querying the data with Jina. Now, I think classification neural networks tend to be hard to debug when it comes to why they made certain predictions, because they're this black box, and explainable AI actually is a currently active research area. But when we use Jina, we get to see why Jina is making certain, or rather Cofefec is making certain false positives or false negatives by looking at the matches that the neural search API finds. So when we use Jina, I think it's a lot easier to reason about why misclassifications are being made rather than the current method of classification neural networks. Coming to Ibrahim's second question, something that I'd like to see in Jina in the future, although I think the core tech is quite phenomenal, is that some tutorials focusing on the core technology itself rather than the applications that can be made out of those technologies. So like going into more about how to structure flows and about the crafters and drivers themselves rather than the applications you could make out of it. The application examples are definitely more shiny, but the low-level feature tutorials, in my opinion, would be more valuable to long-term Jina users. But other than that, I think Jina provides a really good foundation to build the modern search engine, and it's obviously a cool product. Thanks.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you very much. Wonderful. And now I would like to also invite Kushik to share a few words.
I would like to answer Ibrahim's question. So what Jina provides, it also provides best practices for search, right? So it has amazing docs. That's one point, and second, it is able to decouple the components, the executors, for starters to get started with Jina. For example, my teammate Tushar, so he haven't worked with search before. So he started working on Jina like 3 days ago, and he was able to build a video search program. Right. So Jina provides a lot of best practices with lot of decoupled components like crafters, encoders, indexers, and rankers, and it really helps engineers to get started. And it's like the right amount of abstraction for multiple kind of engineers, from backend engineers, AI engineers. And to answer the second question, I had a talk with Nan, like if we can add there's something regarding for training as well, and a bit more support for videos, like for the crafters and etc. And a bit of docs for drivers, requests, etc. That's it for mine.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Kushik, for sharing your thoughts about Jina. Wonderful. So everyone, we just finished our demo of 10 teams, the top 10 teams at Jina.ai Hackathon. So now it is time for the judges to deliberate, to finalize who will win the gold, silver, and bronze prizes of our hackathon today. And we will be back for the prize announcement and closing ceremony at 8 p.m. European Central Time, which will be in 1 hour and 12 minutes, 1 hour and 12 minutes from now, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, I would like to conclude our demo day today as we move into the judge deliberation process. And we'll close our hackathon with the final award ceremony and closing. Great job, and thank you, everyone. Anyone from the judges or the Jina team would like to share anything before we move on to the judge deliberation?
Hi, I just want to say thank you for all the amazing pictures. I was really inspired, and I got some really interesting feedback on the product as well and how you guys used it. So yeah, I can't wait to have the closing ceremony and celebrate the winners.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lucia. So I will see you guys judges in the call. And for the hackers, I will see you in 1 hour and 10 minutes from now. See you guys.